Okay, I'm shooting this video. Ooh. I'm shooting this video really quick because it's like 11:30 and I have work tomorrow. But my name is Lola. I'm 25 years old and I've been living in Asia for the last 2 years now. So I want to start making videos because people suggested that I make videos. Well, people suggested that I make a blog, but I have nails. So it's just not very likely that I'll keep up with typing. So instead, I'm going to make videos. They're probably going to be very unedited, very candid, because I can't edit worth a damn. So what you see is what you're going to get, pretty much. I just wanted to film a quick introduction video, just kind of who I am. Where I am right now is China. I am a US citizen, born and raised in Georgia. My first Asian country is actually South Korea. And I'm currently, like I said, in China. So I'll probably just do videos about daily life, house tour, how my schedule is for work, my experiences in South Korea, and maybe just like advice if anybody has specific questions with like things like visa, things like that. But two things that I want to address mainly for anybody, but mainly Black people who are traveling, that I've heard my family say and friends in the US say like they don't travel because they're always questioning if they like Black people in that country. Truth is, probably not. I'm just gonna be honest. The whole world can have one problem or another with Black people, and that's just a fact of life at this point. It's really more of a question of, would you rather racism and discrimination in a country that's built on those principles, that's founded and it's like poison every aspect kind of society in the US, where people are also becoming emboldened once again to show their hatred? Or would you rather be in a country where they're more likely to dislike you for you as a person? You can feel how you want about that, but I would prefer someone hate me for me instead of hate me because I'm brown or because of a perceived like history or background and everything. So I would say that, and I think a lot of people would, a lot of other Black people who are currently abroad would probably say the same thing, that racism is a bit different. It's more discriminatory than it is overt racism and denying you certain things because you're brown. For instance, I'm in China currently and I've seen plenty of men who I've had a double take because they're like the same color as me. They clearly work outside and things like that, and I have a double take because again they're the same color as me. I've had people double take at me because again my skin color, I could just be a big Chinese person who has been outside too much. Their double takes are often, I think, because of my hair more than like my skin color. Same thing with this, like for even students, for instance, most of the time these kids are looking at me and not like, they're not pointing and like shouting and stuff, but they're definitely like, ooh, you're brown and you're tall and you're your hair is very different. So I'd say that like China has actually been very friendly, especially compared to when I came here almost 10 years ago with my high school orchestra. So a lot has changed since me or my family was last year. But just Black people are like, do they like Black people there though? Do they like Black people there? No. The answer is no, they probably don't. And that's because it's more likely because of ignorance as opposed to like actual racism. So I would say that, like, ponder that. and whether or not you're willing to constrict your entire world to one country because of racism that you don't even know you'll experience for sure. And racism that is often, or discrimination that's often not based in pure hatred, it's based off of misinformation and ignorance. And then 2 is do your own due diligence. If you're going to make any major decision in life, if you're going to move anywhere, if you're going to do anything that is important to you, you have to do your own research. You have to talk to people, you have to search things online, and you have to do the same when you go abroad. I think some people like are used to kind of just jumping headfirst into things and it working out. I wouldn't advise you do that, especially if you're a brown person or a black person. I would not advise that you just jump into moving abroad your whole life across the world without doing like a good amount of research into the language, the culture, so you don't offend people, so you don't even possibly get in trouble with the law in certain countries like China, for instance. It is a communist nation, so there are certain things that I can't do. There are certain things that I cannot say as well because I'm living in their country. Now, I likely wouldn't say anything like overtly bad about China anyways. I've been having a great time here so far for the most part. But those are things that you have to be aware of. And you can't just go based off of rumors. That the US, for instance, has had lots of rumors about, China, bad, communism, third world country, da 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 da. And in reality, China is very advanced. Yeah, they're very advanced. They're very, largely seem like a very happy group of people as well, which is why you can't just go based off of things that people have told you in passing or assumptions people have made because of, history class or economics or whatever the case may be. You should really more often speak to people who have lived in the country. Even tourists necessarily aren't the best form of research if you're going to move to a different country, because people have different experiences when they're tourists. People treat tourists differently as well, compared to people that they're going to be living near and around. So I think me as a tourist here for a month or 2 months would have a very different experience with the people around, as opposed to it being clear that like I'm gonna be sticking around and people are gonna be living around me and things like that. So just do your own research, be prepared, practice reasonable caution. Don't let fear dictate your decision overall to leave the country or to go abroad, whether it's for travel or for living abroad. But definitely practice caution and discernment, pray about it, do your own research, try to find people online to talk to, hear their experiences, their thoughts. There's lots of Reddit threads and things, so there's many ways to find information. Don't just go based off of the information that you think you know about certain places. Because if I went based off of just what I thought I knew about China, I would never be here. If I went based off of just what I thought I knew about South Korea, I would have stayed there for the rest of my life. But the reality is different than what you perceive or what is shown to you in media and things like that. So you do have to do your own research. You do have to trust yourself as well and be brave enough to experience things for yourself to find out. Your experience might be different from someone else's. So that's pretty much all for my introduction video. Again, this will not be edited, so what you see is what you get. I'm about to go to bed, so I look a little ghetto, but yeah. Like I said, just like do your own research, and black people, stop using the excuse of they don't like black people there. They don't like black people in the US either, but y'all still living there and it's expensive. So do with that information what you will. and good night.